Fanboy Friday with Mark Walters and Robert Miguel.
Coyote Country 104.9.
104.9 Coyote Country, Friday, 8:30 means I got a little phone call here from professional Q&A moderator and speaker, film critic at BigFanboy.com, and the show director at Dallas Comic Show, the one and only, back from the dead. Mark Walters is back. Mark, welcome back, man.
I don't know if my feet are back from the dead. I actually feel like I can't walk anymore thanks to being around San Diego Comic-Con for 5 days, but I am here.
Man, so we really missed you last week, but I know you had big fish to fry. Again, you were at San Diego Comic-Con, and we're going to talk all about that here in a minute because I'm sure you got some really cool inside information and some good scoops for us there. But let's quickly talk about what's going on new in theaters this weekend. I know that I'm kind of excited about the new Mission Impossible film. I know you haven't screened it yet, but you do have a writer that has a review. Let's talk about that for a moment.
Yeah, Mission Impossible Fallout is the latest of the big Mission Impossible movies. Tom Cruise is back, of course. You know, you've got Simon Pegg, Ving Rhames, Rebecca Ferguson. Henry Cavill joins the cast this time around. I had been hearing nothing but good things about this. I've actually got a friend of mine who is a film director that gets to see a lot of movies early, and he had been telling me a couple of weeks ago, he was like, man, wait until you see Fallout. It is going to blow you away. It really is like the best Mission Impossible movie yet. And so since I was out of town, I sent one of my writers to cover it for the screening. I'm dying to see it. I'm going to go see it this weekend. But she also said that it's a tremendous amount of fun. You know, it's just a blast to see. So I'll have her review is going to be up on BigFanboy.com if you guys want to read that. And I'm going to go check it out this weekend because like I said, I've heard nothing but good things. I may even decide just for grins to write my own review just to kind of compliment her review. So we'll see. But yeah, that's opening up this weekend, and I'm hearing so many great things about it. I hear the action is absolutely insane. The fight sequences are incredible. You know, I think probably the greatest compliment that anybody could pay towards a movie like that, because I had seen a couple of clips from, like, there's a bathroom fight that looks really intense, and I was asking one of my friends, I said, so that bathroom fight, is it as great as what I've seen? They said, yeah, they can't understand how someone didn't get tragically hurt. Like, it's that good of a fight scene, you know? So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. That opens up this weekend. Christopher McQuarrie is directing it. He's reteaming with Tom Cruise after the last Mission Impossible movie. And for those of you that don't know that name, he was responsible for a little movie called Way of the Gun.
Oh.
For McQuarrie, also the guy that wrote The Usual Suspects. This guy is the director to be on the lookout for the future. I think he's going to be, if not already, he's going to be like the hot new action director. Keep your eyes on this guy.
Well, I'm telling you what, I've really enjoyed most of the Mission Impossible movies. I think the second one failed me just a little bit, but the last few, they just seem to be on a roll. And when you say, you know, better than ever or, you know, best of them all, that's a high bar. I mean, they're all pretty darn good movies, man. So
yeah, I think all of those movies, you know, to me, they're basically kind of like, even though we still have James Bond movies, it's sort of the modern day equivalent of what I guess people thought of the James Bond movies in like the first decade or so when those movies were hitting. You know, these are kind of like our James Bond movies that we've grown up with. You know, that every few years we get a new one, and you know, sometimes it's a new director, sometimes there's some new actors that pop up in it, but it's always kind of the same sort of concept, and it's just a matter of whether or not, you know, how good is this one versus the last one. And from everything I've been hearing and everything that, you know, everyone I've talked to, this really is probably the best one yet. And I've heard several people say they think it is the best of the series. So I'm very, very much looking forward to it. I think it's going to be great.
Well, once again, that's Mission Impossible Fallout in theaters today, clocking in at 2 hours and 27 minutes. And right now it's got a current rating of 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is pretty astounding. Of course, the new Teen Titans. I'm kind of excited about this, man. You know, I got a 12-year-old daughter. She loves Teen Titans Go, and they've got their brand new movie coming out as well. You got anything on that? Any tidbits?
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. I think people are really going to enjoy this. It's kind of a DC, you know, when you have the whole Teen Titans Go concept, you know, what they're doing is they're sort of using this as an opportunity to kind of poke fun at the superhero movie, you know, the big screen superhero movie concept.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, the whole concept of these guys going to the movies to watch these films is a chance for them to kind of poke fun at themselves, poke fun at their franchises, and poke fun at relate to San Diego Comic-Con.
Huh.
Because, as I mentioned, I think on the little teaser thing that I sent you last week, they unleashed the trailer for this new series called Titan.
Right.
It's based on Teen Titans, and is very adult, and is going to play on DC's DC Universe streaming service. And so it's kind of funny in a way that, you know, we see this very adult, very serious trailer for a Titans TV show, but then, in the same breath, we're getting this Teen Titans Go movie that really sort of pokes fun at, you know, the dark, dour seriousness of the DC cinematic universe, while also at the same time we've been treated to a couple of new trailers for DC movies, including Shazam, which also sort of, you know, kind of moves away from taking itself so seriously. So hopefully DC and Warner Brothers, hopefully they're kind of learning their lesson that, you know, the people that go see these movies, you know, there's a certain amount of that is acceptable in terms of having it be dark and brooding, but, you know, at the same time, it's like, we're still going to these movies to have fun. And so I think, you know, Teen Titans Go to the Movies is going to be a chance for people that have maybe felt like they were a little too serious. But this is going to be the movie to really kind of celebrate just the absurdity of it all.
Once again, that's Teen Titans Go to the Movies in theaters today, rated PG, and clocks in at 1 hour, 32 minutes, looking at a 92% Rotten Tomatoes score. And real quick, I just wanted to, this brings up a good opportunity to talk about this. I used to resent all these variations and, you know, the license people would take with these DC characters, all the way going back to Smallville, which, you know, when Smallville came out, I was not on board. To me, the thought of Lex Luthor and Clark Kent being friends in any capacity growing up was just ridiculous to me. And a couple of decades later, you know, I really enjoy the fact that we have Teen Titans Go versus the kind of brooding, dark, actual Teen Titans cartoon, you know, and all these different incarnations of our beloved characters. I think it's kind of cool that you kind of got, you know, a little this, a little that, you know, different choices and different takes on the same characters. Kind of fun.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing a lot more variety, I think, you know, and that's the most important thing. I mean, even when you look at, like, some of the Marvel movies and you look at how Ant-Man and the Wasp is sort of a very comical take on the superhero genre. You know, it still has, you know, a lot of exciting action sequences, but it's got a lot of funny moments in it as well. And I kind of love that we're finally starting to see a little bit more variety in that. Because, I mean, the bottom line is comic books as a whole, you know, comic books are very different in terms of how they're presented and in terms of the tone and the characters and the way they're portrayed. So, you know, not every comic book movie should feel the same anyway. You know, you should try to keep it a little bit more varied and, you know, try different things. And I think we're seeing more of that now. Another thing I did want to point out about the Teen Titans Go to the Movies movie that I think is kind of fun is for those of you that follow comic book movies and sort of like the legacy of all these comic book films as they've been being produced through the years, at one point in time, we almost got a Superman movie with Nicolas Cage, where Nicolas Cage played Superman. They were very, very close.
Yeah.
To producing a Tim Burton-directed Superman movie with Nicolas Cage. It ended up getting scrapped, and we never got to see it. Well, Nicolas Cage actually voices Superman in the Teen Titans Go to the Movies movie, and I think that's really kind of funny.
Yeah.
And sort of a meta, you know, making fun of themselves type of moment. And I just, to me, that's the kind of stuff that when I hear that and when I see that in those films, I think, okay, somebody that's working on these movies gets that it's okay to kind of poke fun at yourself every now and then. And so I love that. I hope we see more of that.
Oh, hey, by the way, who does the voice of Slade? Because he sounds real familiar to me. I just can't place it. Do you remember?
I don't remember off the top of my head. Most of the actors that are in the film are actors that have been, you know, voicing the characters like on the TV series and stuff like that.
I'm pretty sure it's Will Arnett, I think, unless that's Batman. I don't know.
I think it is Will Arnett, and if I'm not mistaken, I think Will Arnett had a lot of creative input on the movie. Now that you say that, I'm almost positive it is Will Arnett.
Okay.
And just so you know, there are a couple of other well-known stars, like Bell does a voice in the movie. Apparently Stan Lee is in there somewhere. You know, Patton Oswalt does one of the voices. So there's definitely some recognizable actors doing things in that film. But there's also some, you know, somewhat unknown voice actors that have been doing voices in these animated series for years and years and years. So it's kind of a great mix of talent.
Well, and speaking of comic book movies, let's go ahead and give us what you got, man. Give us the bullet points on San Diego Comic-Con from last week. And like you said, what, 5 days in San Diego?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I've been going to this show now. This is my 24th consecutive year
My Lord.
Comic-Con.
Wow.
I started going in 1994, and I've enjoyed every bit of it. I go every single year. I really like the experience of it all. For those people that are unfamiliar, San Diego Comic-Con, you probably hear the word Comic-Con used a lot. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of conventions. Every city kind of has their own Comic-Con or has something that's akin to that, like a pop culture convention that is very popular and whatnot. But San Diego Comic-Con is one of the longest-running and most well-known events of its type, and it's also one of the most heavily attended. They bring in an estimated 160,000 people every year for Comic-Con, and these are people from all over the world, people that fly in from everywhere. There are certain people that, they save up all year long just to go to San Diego Comic-Con. So this is a big event. This is definitely the granddaddy of them all when it comes to Comic-Con. And, you also see, I think it's safe to say that this is the event where Hollywood, in addition to the comic book companies, Hollywood really pulls out all the stops, and they have a lot of TV shows and movies that get represented there, a lot of big-name actors that come out for it. So, you could literally be walking the halls and see, someone like Tom Hardy walking by, or, some giant-name celebrity just happens to brush shoulders with you. It's entirely possible when you go out there. So, and this year was no exception. There was a lot of really big stuff being promoted out there this year. DC unveiled, some of the big trailers for their upcoming movies, including Aquaman with Jason Momoa, which hits theaters this December. We've posted these trailers on BigFanboy.com if you want to check them out. So there's a new Aquaman trailer out there. There's a trailer for Shazam, which is based on the classic comic book character from DC.
Yeah.
Shazam was at one point called Captain Marvel, but there was a lawsuit, as you can imagine. Marvel wasn't too crazy about that, so they changed the name to Shazam. And Shazam was always kind of meant to be a bit of a cheesy, campy character.
Yeah.
So when you watch the trailer, just keep that in mind. If you think it looks cheesy and campy, that's because it's supposed to look cheesy and campy. Right. But Zach Levi plays the title character in that. And it actually looks like a lot of fun. It looks like kind of a fun sort of a superhero movie for kids. I think kids will appreciate it.
It seems like it has kind of like a Big, like a Tom Hanks Big kind of vibe.
Yeah, it actually does. And there's a lot of similarities to that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they were going for, really. I think they were trying to get that same kind of vibe. Warner Brothers unveiled a new trailer for the new Fantastic Beasts movie. There's a new Godzilla movie, Godzilla King of All Monsters. A lot of really big stuff being premiered out there at Comic-Con, so really exciting things. For me personally, I can tell you that the most exciting things that I got to do, and you'll be seeing these very soon up at BigFanboy.com. I'm going to be posting it either over the weekend or next week. But we did some interviews with the cast of Star Trek Discovery, which is going into its second season and is more popular than ever. And I think they're doing some really awesome stuff with the Star Trek mythos. They're going to introduce young Spock in this new season, and
nice.
So I think there's a lot of really exciting things going on there. But the thing that was really kind of a personal victory for me was I got to do interviews for this upcoming. They're doing a new season of Cosmos, which if you didn't see the first season, Cosmos is basically Neil deGrasse Tyson hosts. It's kind of talking about the interplanetary exploration, travel and whatnot. So they're doing a new season of that, and I got to interview Neil deGrasse Tyson and talk about that a little bit. And that was really cool. It was just one of those cool kind of, listen, I've always been a bit of a science nerd ever since I was a kid, and especially space exploration, which is something I feel, probably needs to be taught more of in schools right now. It's something that gets a little bit overlooked. But, I was very excited to be involved with that and talk to them about that. But, yeah, there was a lot of interesting stuff, new trailers coming out for, the new series of The Walking Dead. Better Call Saul had a big, panel up there. Breaking Bad had a big reunion panel. Just a lot of really cool things happening there. So I don't even know how to sum it all up. It was just really exciting stuff. Just to give you an example of what I was talking about bumping into people on the street or, bumping into people at the convention center. One of the nights that I was out there, I was just walking past one of the hotels, and I bumped into David Gordon Green, who is a Texas-born director who actually is directing the new Halloween movie, which comes out this fall, which is produced by John Carpenter and has music by John Carpenter. And I know David because I interviewed him at the Dallas International Film Festival a few years ago, and so we talked a little bit about the new movie and whatnot. And it's the kind of place where you can have that experience where you can just sort of bump into people like that. And and be surrounded by a bunch of like-minded people like myself or like yourself, Robert. People that are nerds at heart, but
Yeah.
we're very proud of it.
Well, tell me this. Tell me this. Did you find yourself in an autograph line or a session, meeting somebody, big fanboyed out on anybody?
I will tell you my one geek out moment where I was kind of like, I just got to do this. I'm a huge fan of The Flash on CW, and so Grant Gustin, I've never met Grant Gustin, who plays The Flash on the show, and I did get to meet him and take a quick picture with him when I was there, so that was kind of fun.
Very cool. Well, man, it sounds like you had a blast. We look forward to seeing all the coverage, interviews, all the photos, and reviews up on BigFanboy.com. Anything else? I know you had a really busy week, but anything else on BigFanboy.com worth mentioning?
No, I think we're going to do, we may have a couple of contests coming up where we're going to give some stuff away. We've got a couple of San Diego exclusives that I think we're going to do a giveaway for, so stay tuned for that. And, like I said, we'll be posting our interviews and some of our coverage. We'll be posting that stuff up pretty shortly, so just stay tuned to the website. You'll see more. And if you've never been to San Diego Comic-Con before, I hate to tell you, it's one of the hardest shows to get into.
Yeah.
So I don't want to tease you with it and make you think, oh, well, I should just go next year. Well, it's not necessarily that simple, but we'll always do our best to try to bring you the coverage that we can from it. Any of the trailers and stuff that you missed, we'll post that up as well. So.
Well, if you want to go to San Diego Comic-Con, start saving your lunch money right now, or just stay tuned to Mark here on Fanboy Friday, because you're always the man about, the Comic-Con. So we appreciate your insight as always, man. So thanks again for checking in on that.
Absolutely, my friend.
All right, so once again, let's give it up to professional Q&A moderator and speaker, the film critic at BigFanboy.com, show director at Dallas Comic Show, the one and only Mark Walters. Big Fanboy, not just a clever name.
Thank you, Robert. Live long and prosper.
Fanboy Friday with Mark Walters and Robert Miguel.
Coyote Country 104.9.